with Mario Lopez.
And joining me right now on Zoom, the very talented Beth Behrs. How you doing, Beth?
Good. How are you, Mario?
I am doing great. It's been a while since you've been on with us and a lot going on. You've teamed up with Woodbridge Wines and baseball. Break this down.
Yes. So 2 things I love so much, baseball and wine. Together, Woodbridge Wines is now the official wine of Major League Baseball, which is so awesome. And I've teamed up with them to celebrate all of these firsts that we get to experience this summer. Our first time after this very difficult year back in person at a live baseball game, or if you're not ready for that yet, your first in-person viewing party, watching your favorite team and cheering them on with great wine from Woodbridge. And I am just so excited. It feels like we're celebrating all these first moments of being back together in this great way. And I'm teaming up with them also to give you some amazing swag. So check out my Instagram and their Instagram, because there's going to be some specially curated MLB wine swag coming at you soon.
Now, a lot of people, they think baseball, they think beer or something. What is the perfect wine to pair with baseball?
Well, actually, it's interesting. It's early in the morning, but I've got my Woodbridge wines next to me. But I was just thinking that this Sauvignon Blanc from Woodbridge is actually a beautiful wine to have at a baseball game. I love Sauvignon Blanc, but I just feel like it's crisp, it's summer. Also, let's bring bougie to baseball. Wine is so bougie, right? And I'm so excited that I'll have a choice at my Orioles game now to have Woodbridge wine instead of beer. It's going to be awesome.
Have you been to a game yet?
I haven't. I'm in LA, so I don't get to go to Baltimore very often anymore, but I grew up going to Camden Yards and big Orioles fan. I love the Dodgers too, guys. Don't get mad at me. I love them too, but I actually really do want to go to a Dodgers game soon. So
I think you got excited. That you grew up with, so.
What'd you say?
You have to stick with the team that you grew up with.
I know. It's just, I've lived in LA now since I was 18, and it's wow, when are you I'm behind the Lakers, I'm behind the Kings, but I cannot cheat on the Orioles. They're forever my heart. So I had Cal Ripken Jr. on my wall as a kid, and Brady Anderson. The 90s Orioles were my heart and soul as a little girl. So
this fall, you also, you're going to have season 4 of The Neighborhood. What can you tell us about that?
We are so excited. I can't believe this will be my 10th year on television on Monday nights, because Two Broke Girls was on for 6 years, and now we're going into our 4th year. And I just feel so incredibly grateful. I'm so proud of this show. I'm proud that we're able to address such important issues, but in a way that brings people together and makes them laugh, and is a family show that everybody can sit down, no matter what age you are, grandma to your 7-year-old, and watch together. So I'm just really excited that everything's coming back. Baseball and wine and The Neighborhood.
Get some wine, sit down, watch The Neighborhood this fall. It's going to be good. You guys must just laugh all day on set.
I mean, you can't work with Cedric the Entertainer, Tashina Arnold, and Max Greenfield and not laugh all day long. It's truly the best job ever.
Which was a funnier set to be on, The Neighborhood or Two Broke Girls?
Kat Dennings is really funny too. I gotta say, Cedric is a stand-up comedian and one of our best, I think, in the world. So you can't beat Cedric. He's just hilarious.
Do you think you would ever attempt stand-up? Have you ever tried stand-up? Would you?
That is so weird you said that, because this is such a pandemic thing. You know how everybody's had weird inclinations during this pandemic? But I actually do think I would like to do that at some point. It terrifies me, to the point where I would think I'd have a panic attack on stage, but that's why I think I should do it. Maybe I need some Woodbridge Cabernet or something to take up there with me, because I don't think I could do it completely sober.
Get out there. I'm sure you'd be fine. You also have a podcast called Harmonics. It's all about music, but more specifically how music can help heal. So tell me about that.
During this pandemic, music was really what I turned to for healing. I'm a big meditator, I garden and all these things, but sometimes there's nothing like putting on a record. And there's something about music that I think cuts straight to the heart and soul. I mean, it's been around, people have been using music since tribal days. It's such an important part of being a human. And so I really wanted to explore different kinds of relationships with artists and asking them less about their new album from that perspective and more about what went into it from a mental health perspective and creativity, and how they use their art for healing.
Who are some of the artists that you've had on that you really?
Oh my gosh, I've had on Brandy Carlisle, who's one of my all-time favorites. Jewel. I've had on Carol Burnett, which as a comedian, that one was a pretty bucket list moment. Abby Wambach, soccer player, Glennon Doyle, the writer of Untamed. It's kind of like selfishly, like for me, that I get to ask all my heroes all the questions about living the best life possible.
It's fun. I mean, I kind of feel the same way, like being, part of this show and everything we do is like, we get to ask people that we really like questions that people want to ask them. And it's almost unfair, it seems like, but I don't know. It's an amazing thing. I have to remind myself that most people don't get to do that. So it's fun to do that. Also saw on your Instagram that you're a big gardener. Is that true?
This is a new pandemic hobby that has stuck. Like banjo didn't stick. I tried that at the beginning of the pandemic. That went out the window. My husband, he couldn't handle that first thing in the morning.
How many days of the banjo before it was gone?
Oh, long. It was like 6 months. I genuinely took lessons and I love the banjo. It's my favorite instrument. Now I'm realizing it's my favorite instrument to listen to, but not necessarily play myself. But gardening stuck. It's so, I love being outside. I have horses and it's always been a part of my life. So now to also be growing my own food and flowers, it's just another really healing thing. Anybody who's out there still kind of struggling after this year, it's a great way to deal with grief and mental health, gardening, just having your hands in the earth and being around flowers and growing your own food.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic from other people I know that do it. And what is this about a butterfly sanctuary that you?
Okay, so as you know, I hope that climate change is real and monarchs are dying. And I love the monarch butterfly. I've loved it since I was a little kid. And so my husband and I have gotten really into planting native milkweed and sowing our own native milkweed seeds because it's one of the ways you can help the monarch butterflies right now. So we've sown 600 seeds, which I don't know how many are going to take, but we went into major gardening mode for the butterflies. And so we're waiting to see how much takes. And then hopefully the backyard will just be covered in monarch butterflies that are healthy and thriving. And it's sort of just another way of doing our part to help combat climate change.
It's unfortunate you gave up the banjo because I hear butterflies also really love.
I don't know if they like my banjo playing. My husband didn't appreciate it very much, but he's so supportive, but it was just hard. I think I like to play it in the morning and that's not really his jam.
That could be a rough way to wake up every day for 6 months.
It was pretty fun.
You don't really know where to go. You're kind of stuck.
Pandemic. Yeah, he couldn't escape me.
Beth, before you go, one last thing. I'm going to put you on the spot. Some quick questions, quick answers. Okay.
Okay.
Favorite type of wine?
That's so hard. Depends on what I'm doing. But I guess if I had to pick a favorite, I'd say a Pinot.
Okay. A TV show you would recommend that everyone watch right now?
The Neighborhood on CBS.
Of course. That one. Go to late night snack.
Popcorn. My husband's been popping the corn from seeds, not the kind you pop in the microwave, but he does it on the stove, Alphonse, with some olive oil, salt.
Are you growing the corn in your backyard?
Not yet, but I just saw a video on how to grow corn, and now I want to grow corn.
That's gonna be kind of crazy, but weird stuff happens in cornfields. So luckily, just keep it.
That's true. That's kind of horror movie. I don't know if it'd go well with the monarch butterflies. That might not be a good combo, to be honest.
Favorite baseball player of all time? We may have covered that one.
Cal Ripken Jr. or Brady Anderson, because I thought Brady Anderson was super cute, and I had him on my wall. But Cal Ripken Jr. was my favorite baseball player.
And dream guest for your podcast?
Dolly Parton. We have a Dolly question every episode. She's a huge part of our podcast. We have merch coming out with Dolly, Dolly inspired. So Dolly Parton has always been my dream to talk to.
Is an amazing, amazing person. Well, you can learn more about Woodbridge Wines at woodbridgewines.com and be on the lookout for season 4 of The Neighborhood this fall. Beth, thanks so much for zooming in.
Thank you.
On with Mario Lopez.